Do you guys think it can be overwhelming when you like initially raise your standards really high?
Yeah, I think it should be as well. I
Yeah.
think it should be a shock because if you're going on this journey and you're thinking like it's not overwhelming and it's
Yeah.
actually going to be easy,
Yeah.
dude, you got bloody massive ego issues and have no self awareness. It should actually be really daunting and really scary. We call it the dip. You start learning a little bit, and if you think you're near the top, there's no way you're near the top at all. You're about to fall off a bloody cliff, go down that cliff for like 2 3 years, and then you got to work up the other side of it, and then you might get there.
Let's get more deeper into that, the dip. So like when you're first starting off learning something, you have this excitement about you, and you're up this really high plateau, and then you begin to level out because then it's about to hit you of the things that you don't know or the things that you need to get better at, and that's the dip. And if you're not willing to put in the effort of going through that hard phase of consistent hard work, learning new things, being actionable, then you're going to quit. So I guess you have to see the end result, and I think that's what you were saying, G. Like we don't believe in ourselves, which is why we don't want to level up. We don't think we can level up because we can't imagine the future state. But if we can visualize a future state, then we set our standards high so we can achieve the future state, and we can get through that dip.
If you're in a position where you're attempting to raise your standards and you're not scared of them, it means you haven't raised them high enough, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you need to be self-aware. If you're not scared of this, you're simply, like, you're thinking too small. You need to think all the way up here. It should terrify you.
I think
Yeah.
the thing as well to touch on is like, why are actually your standards like so important? Is because if we study all of the best, most successful people in the world, that's the one common thing that they all do.
Yeah.
They all have these standards are just so extremely high. You just can't get there. If you really truly want to be an A class at something, it has to come down to how high you hold yourself.
I think another example of incredibly high standards is probably Steve Jobs. When he literally redesigned the computer. Before, back in the day, the power supply of computers could not fit into that one box. He got his team of engineers to literally redesign it, and everyone thought it wasn't possible, but he had those high standards. Even in the interior has to look a certain way as well.
Yeah.
Even
That's
though,
the big thing.
even though the end user doesn't even see it, for him that's his level. It has to be that high. Even the interior, the things that you can't see.
I think the high
That's crazy.
standards one is always like behind the closed door. For me, it's always made more of an impact behind closed doors. It's like the small details. For us, it's the deets, right? The detail cleaning that we have to do. Like if we do that half-assed, or if we do anything half-assed, it's going to play a bigger and larger impact down the road. It starts to build those bad habits of taking shortcuts. Like you have to have your standards as high as possible. And I think we're all in the same boat now, where it's like, dude, if we don't do something 100%, we think about it all night and we come back and get it done.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm really, really tired or something, anything like that. Our standards are here or to a point now.
I think if you let yourself off, like example is those detailed cleaning, right? If we let ourselves off, then we give ourselves permission to be that level next time, versus if you just get it done and go against how you're feeling, of you're feeling lazy, you're not feeling motivated, but you still get it done, that is in the long term going to be more beneficial for you, versus if you allow yourself to just be lazy.
And maybe like a good analogy for people is like when they go to work, like their standards at their job, their standards at their work. If you're not doing your best work all the time, then, well, you're affecting the culture of the entire work, right? Which is really damaging to whether you're the boss or whether you're not. Like if you're wanting to progress and wanting to promote, it stands out if you are that person who has high standards and always does their best at everything. If you're focusing on the smaller details, even if you just want to work a normal job and want to continuously get a promotion, your manager's going to notice that over someone else.
Yeah. Kind of like think of us like maybe like an operating system or something. Like, people think that they can walk into a certain task at hand and say, hey, with this certain task, I'm going to have high standards, right? And then they, for some reason, like with the rest of their life, they're like, I'm going to have low standards. But I feel like you just programmed us. You have to program yourself a certain way. So you have to just have high standards with just absolutely everything. You know, it starts with making your bed, cleaning the house like we do. And it doesn't make sense. Like, a normal person is going to come into our house thinking, boys, this is more work than cleaning an actual restaurant. No joke, right? And
Yeah.
to the untrained eye, it looks like that's a waste of time. But then that starts the day. We have our standards here. So then when we actually jump into proper work, our standards are already there again. So then that's just our default. You know, it becomes our default that we are people that operate at a high standard.